Is Talent. I'm going to be your trainer for this emergence coordinator training. So, in a nutshell, when we are talking about coordinating an emergency, we are mainly looking at emergencies because for us to coordinate emergency is only when there is emergency. But now the thing is now, when it comes to company levels, we cannot wait for an emergency, then we can look at what must we do. So we start by what we call emergence planning. Then after emergence planning, we do what we call emergence preparedness. After emergence preparedness, we test our what our available measures or procedures which addresses or which deals with emergency response. So it means emergency planning, emergency preparedness, testing our emergency response, then it means we are ready now. Then we continuously monitor to check if all the existing systems that we put in place are functional, as well as our team is ready, as well as everyone knows what to do. So that is what we are going muchly to look at. So just to give you a summary actually in terms of how can we plan for emergencies. If we go back to your social life, isn't it now you plan that, okay guys, I'm getting so much money per month. So with this money, this amount is going to rent. This amount I'm going to pay my debts. This amount is for food. This amount is for fuel to transportation, isn't it? Then there is some intervals that you organize. Say, okay, otherwise after 3 months I'll buy clothes for myself. Another 3 months for my kids. Another 3 months for my wife. You are planning. You cannot just do. If you just buy without a plan, they call it an impulse buying. So when it is impulse, it means it comes with what? Consequences. Some they can be negative to or can put you into financial strains. So that is also the same thing with emergencies. So we have to sit down and look at, okay, guys, what are possible emergencies that can occur at this company? We write a list of those emergencies because each emergency is unique on its own way. Emergencies, they differ. The way we respond to a certain emergency, let's say, for example, right now there is fire. If all of us, we hear a fire alarm, we are going to march out of the room because we really know that fire need us to evacuate. But now, if there's robberies outside, can we go out? Because if we go out, they catch us. Are you getting it? So there is a unique way in which we respond to different emergencies. So that is why it is very important to have a starting point of listing all the emergencies that are possibly going to happen at your company. And how can we predict that these emergencies are going to happen? It's because of availability of possible hazards that can contribute. For example, if we have electricity, fire is possible. If we have chemical spillage possibilities, the explosions is possible, isn't it? If we are working with something vital, something that is needed, and we have valuables like cars, valuables like screens, TVs, and all those things, robberies are attracted, isn't it? If we are driving vehicles within this yard, car accidents are possible. So we look at the equipment, activities that we are doing, our geographical locations as well, in order to have a proper list of possible emergencies. Then now there are those that we call natural causes, natural emergencies. because they are naturally in their way that they can happen naturally. No one planned today that it's gonna rain, but because naturally it is raining. But when it rains, it depends on how much rain is pouring. If it is heavy, we might end up having floods. And the floods can also sometimes affect our team. Then we have now to prepare for such natural emergencies. So, okay, guys, let's say we are exposed in a flood zone. What are we gonna do? But we cannot just wake up and start deciding about floods. Yes, we can have proactive actions, but we also have to look at possibilities. Let's say, for example, if you are in KZN, year in, year out, we can hear about floods in KZN. So, which means companies in KZN, it's very encourageable for them to have what? Flood emergency preparedness. Are you getting it? So, it all depends. In some areas, it's windy areas. You can be affected by heavy winds. It's an emergency. So that is what a coordinator do. So a coordinator coordinates how we prepare as a company to deal with emergencies and how we respond to such emergencies. But when doing so, we are guided by the legislations. We cannot wake up and do what we think is possible. Because what you think is possible, it can sometimes not be practical. But now, if we are guided by the law, it's very easy to look at, okay, guys, what does the legislation requires? First, that is the first thing in. So now, if we look at the OHS Act 85 of 1993, it requires, as part of, it requires an emergency plan. And an emergency plan is made up of a lot of things that makes up the plan. So we look at one, identification. Because if we don't identify, we cannot create measures. After identifying, we now have to look at communication. How can we communicate as part of the plan? We are looking at displaying of emergency plan. I think you do have your emergency evacuation plan. The emergency evacuation plan shows everyone who gets to your company, and that emergency evacuation plan must be whether by the security gate there or it must be attached here by the reception so that whoever that visit your company will see the plan, guided by the plan. Okay, how many exits do we have here in case of emergency? How does the emergency exit doors works here? Because it is stipulated. Where are the fire extinguishers? Where are the first aid boxes? So it shows all the where emergency equipments are, all emergency exits that are available, the procedures that must be followed, where the evacuation assembly is. So it's an emergency evacuation plan. So the law requires it to be what? Displayed all the time. When an emergency evacuation plan is displayed, we will also display the emergency procedures. That gives a reminder to people on what they must do in case of emergencies. Then, when we have emergency procedures displayed, we now need to have emergency numbers displayed. So, emergency numbers start from internal. So, if it is you, a coordinator, which means your number must be displayed. And in most probably, if you give them consent, we normally encourage your face and your number and your designation displayed as well on the wall. So that if there is anything happens, it might happen that now there is an emergency. You people are in serious danger. But me as a visitor, I'm a bit free that I can try to communicate. Then it's easy for me to find, oh, this is an emergency coordinator. Let me call him to coordinate this because otherwise he might not be aware. So it gives an easier way of communication. Then, as part of such emergency numbers, we also have to display the what? External emergency what? Numbers. Fire department, your nearest, not national, because you are a trained personnel. You cannot call the national number. National number is for public. You display your nearest so that you call them directly, you tell them exactly what is happening. paramedics or any ambulance numbers like ER24 and any many more, display them again, easily accessible. Are you getting it? So that they are the hazmat numbers. If you are dealing with chemicals, hazmat. So that if there are chemical spillage that became uncontrollable, hazmat team can come in and assist. Flying squad. Because if there can be bomb threats, we cannot organize that. It can happen at any time. So flying squad number, subs number, your nearest subs police station number. Are you getting it? And the other authoritative numbers which are applicable to your company. Are you getting it? If you have disaster management, a team close by, if you have their number, display it. So we are talking about legislative requirements. So a plan is there, the numbers are accessible. Now we look at equipment. Do we have firefighting equipment easily accessible? Do we have sufficient number of those fire equipment? Are they serviced according to the requirements of the legislations yearly? Are they inspected monthly as per legislation? Which means we must have trained firefighters, isn't it? We are building a team now. Because when we have a plane, we need to now have equipment. When we have equipment, we must have people or a team that must utilize that what? Equipment. So firefighters must be trained. Then we make sure that we have first aid box. First aid box is displayed. There is a first aid sign. So when there is a firefighting equipment, like your fire extinguishers, hose reels, fire hydrants, there must be what? Fire signs, which shows you that this is where they are. And they must be of subs and sons approved so that they can illuminate in dark areas. So we cannot just print a paper and paste because when it is dark, you won't see it. It's not visible. When there is fire, it catches fire. You got it. Then no one can be assisted with it. So let us have the quality standardized ones. First aid box must be there, meeting the minimum requirements of Regulation 3, with additional equipment as per your SDS if you have any chemicals within your organization. So SDS also contributes to the amount of what of equipment that can be in your first aid box. So additionally, based on that, SDS must be pocketed. They must be in a pocket. In most cases, is an orange pocket, written or labeled in black SDS, so that the SDS safety data sheets are available. They must be available on display physically, as well as electronically, and they must have. When it comes to electronically, we must have to be able to retrieve. Let's say, for example, our computers are also banned. We can even what? Retrieve that information via online systems. And the firefighters, if they come, they ask, do you have chemicals here? Yes. Can I see your SDS? If it is banned physically, we just say, okay, can I just send it to your WhatsApp? Can I email it? Or can I print it if there is accessibility? Because you have a retrieved document. Are you getting it? So that is part of preparedness. How do you communicate when there is an emergency? Your fire alarms. If there is possibility of robberies alarms, isn't it? Medical alarms or lights. So you can have alarms, bells, lights, or you can use your radio communication, or you can use that louder speaker. Are you getting it? So each and every emergency must have its own unique way of communication, so that people they know that this type of emergency require us to evacuate. No, this type of emergency require us to hide. Because if we go out there, we are in danger. So each emergency is treated differently. So also the communication must also be different. So now if the equipment is there, this equipment must be serviced and meet the standard, and must be sufficient, and it must be easily accessible. So now if we have equipment, we now have to build a team. But in order for us to build a team, before we build a team, let me go to give an emphasis on the equipment side. So with the equipments as well, they are. We need also to look at our what, at our what you call those people with disabilities. If we have any of such, or if we are interacting with any customers that are disabled, or those with underlying conditions, which can be an emergency when they try to evacuate in certain circumstances. Let's say there's a chemical spillage or there is fire. Those people, they have underlying conditions. Those people must be identified so that we can aid our equipment accordingly. Then we can have evacuate plus chairs. So the evacuate plus chairs is for evacuating those people. Are you getting it? So it's part of equipment. And when we have such equipment, people must be trained on how to use them. Then PPE is part of equipment, personal protective equipment, which suits to address all hazards which are possible within your organization. So the emergency team, if they are working in the office, they must have what? An emergency what? Bag with PPE. We call it an emergency PPE bag, which is easily accessible at all times. So if I'm busy in the computer wearing my suit and tie, there is an emergency now. I can quickly grab my bag, walk to the evacuation assembly, getting there, do the roll calls and everything, wear my PPE, assist the team to do search and rescue because I'm a trained personnel. So that has to be there as part of the equipment. But equipment is useless if it is not tested. Because you cannot just come and put, like, you, if you look there, we have smoke detectors. We put those smoke detectors. You have your alarm systems, but we don't even test them. They must be what? Tested regularly to check if they are functional. But with the testing now, we do it as a means of drills, but I will talk about that is part of preparedness. But let us start with building a team. So we must build an emergency team. Emergency team is made up of security team. Security team, they are the ones who will direct traffic. They are the ones who will open for the professionals when they come. They are the ones who will also assist to make sure that all exits are open. Are you getting it? They are the ones who can alert people if they suspect something dangerous because they are the first frontliners of the company. Those are the face of the company. When someone comes in, passes through the security. So if they see now that I'm weighed, the way I'm behaving, the way I'm doing, they now have to have a tip off. So the security personnel, they are part of the emergency team with their reaction team. Then we need to have the emergency coordinators. It's a coordination room where everyone internally and externally, the coordination must be done. So when we are talking about coordination, is organizing. Are you getting it? In emergency situation, before emergence, during emergence, after emergence. That's the coordinator. Then we need to have firefighters. We need to have first aiders. We need to have spill response team. You got it. So these people, as well as she reps, they also make part of the emergency team. They are people who are trained in their specific fields of expertise, where they deal with their own unique emergencies. So first aiders, they deal with injuries and illnesses. Firefighters, they deal with fire. Spill controls, they deal with spillage control. Securities, they deal with armed response, isn't it? Because they normally security, we expect them to be armed. Are you getting it? So they deal with armed what? Response. They also deal with controlling of traffic movement. They also deal with communication with external party and internal party. So they are part of. Then the she reps, they identify hazards regularly. They investigate incidents so as to avoid reoccurrence. So before accidents, they are busy identifying possible hazards. During accidents, they are also busy identifying possible hazards. After access, they assist in the investigation of the incident to find a solution which is permanent. Are you getting it? So that's CHIREP. If you have a safety officer, is part of the emergency team. So the emergency teams, when we form our team, they must now be trained each by each. We measure them based on of competence. We cannot just take a security guard from the road and say you are a security guard. They must do their drills as security, knowing how to do tactical what a response and everything that they must do depends on their designation. First aiders, they are being trained on first aid. Firefighters are being trained on fighting fire. Then the spillage team, they were trained on spillage control. She reps, they are being trained on how to identify hazards, how to investigate. So the team must be trained. When now the team is trained, it is now time for us to respond. But we cannot wait for an emergency for us to respond. We now have to assimilate the response. So we assimilate emergencies. Are you getting it? So the assimilation party is when we do it in two ways: announced and unannounced. So first, we announce to people we are going to do a medical drill, a medical emergency what drill. We are going to do a fire drill. We are going to do a spill response drill. We are going to do a bomb threat drill. We are going to do an armed robbery drill. But bomb threat drills and armed robbery drills, we normally have to notify the authorities so that they are aware. Are you getting it? Before we do this, but these ones you can just do an internal notification. So these drills, they also have their unique way of doing them. But when it comes to fire drills, medical emergency drills, they are almost the same, because what you have to be done is notifying people by lights, by loudspeaker, by radio, or by alarm system. Then when people they find it or they hear the alarm system, they must evacuate using their immediate exits. And how are they guided of such immediate exits? There must be exit signs. Are you getting it? Then if we have electronically controlled doors, these doors, they must have what we call a manual what or a manual controller or something that can deactivate the electricity to allow people to go out, or automatically they can open on themselves connected with the siren or with the alarm system. So such have to work. Then people has to evacuate. They are told of not running. They must walk. They must not have what we call panic. They must not panic. They must always remain calm. They must avoid using elevators. They must avoid using lifts. They must avoid using anything that is controlled by source of power, because in such emergencies it might lead to lockout of such power supplies. So they must refrain from that. Then, as they all of them, they are evacuating to their nearest emergency evacuation assembly. When people they get to the emergency evacuation assembly, a roll call will be taken to check if everyone is available. So when it comes to roll call, I've seen that at the security gate, we fill our details. At the reception here, we are filling our details. These details must not be kept only physical, unless if there is a mode of transporting them to a set to make copies, transport them to another what area, so that if now there is a emergency, let's say it's fire, those papers can get burned. Then you don't know how many people you have, visitors you have. How can you retrieve such documents? So also store them electronically. So you must have, let's say, for example, after every 30 minutes, the document is scanned, sent to the emergency coordinator. The emergency coordinator keep it in the system. Are you getting it? So it's easy now for us to retrieve the information. So if we find that we no longer have those papers, we can access electronically and call out the names to find out if everyone who visited or who is at our company is safe successfully out. If there are people who are not yet out, we start to do search and rescue. And search and rescue now, we need all the team. Firefighters extinguishing fire where possible. Assess if it is safe for us to enter. Emergency coordinators also checking and coordinating with the team, making sure that the professionals are also coming, communicate externally and internally. First aiders looking out for those who are injured and treat them. A spill controller team, when they find any spills, they control the spills. Security team checking if the area is safe, everyone is protected. So it's a teamwork when doing such. Are you getting it? So it's part of, so drills is part of preparedness. Checking, are we ready to react accordingly? Then when we test by announced, we now form unannounced ones to just check if we don't tell people in advance, are they going to respond the way we have told them to do? Then we see if they can do that. If they do that, we now, so on each and every drill, we must check what are non-conformances we pick from there. Then those non-conformances must be addressed and we put in control measures in place so that the next drill will be a successful. So the law requires us to do these emergency drills at least twice a year. Yes, it's at least. You can even do weekly, you can do monthly, depends on your capacity, but at least a year. So it's mandatory. Failing to do drills at least twice a year, it means we are not complying with the legislations in terms of the evacuation regulations or the emergency response regulations. So those are the things that we have to look at. Testing our team, checking if our team is fine. So we always say when selecting an emergency team, we need to be practical. We have been in certain areas where we train people that you can see that here they cannot do anything. These people, they are firefighters, but themselves they can panic on slight things. If you are training them, they are even the fire extinguishers are heavy for them. You got it. Some of them, they are training fire first aid. If you use that fake blood, they are afraid of that blood. So you can see that this team is not passion. So we need to build a team based on passion, because passion is what determines efficiency more than a qualification. If we just say, let us qualify you, but you are not passionate, then definitely our team can be weak. Enemy can attack us. So to have a solid to have solidarity in responding, let us create passionate among ourselves in what fields that we are designated to do. So we normally say the first approach of selecting team, I normally encourage volunteering, those who volunteer. Then we explain to them what are they going to be exposed to. Then they still volunteer. Are you getting it? Then from there, when they volunteer, we now have to train them. The company must train them for free so that it shows that the company is motivating them. That's a part of it, motivating. We must always make sure that our team is always motivated. Let us give them gratitude where possible. Let us applaud their response where they make it. Even if they don't make it, let us give them hope. Because this is the team which is there in front of us to protect us on daily basis. That is an emergency team. Are you getting it?